Yep. I mean, you guys are going to morph together, and it's going to become Dion and Toby, and you know that's how you guys will do things. So, for sure. That, right?
If she was here, she'd love this.
Oh, good. Well,
She would.
you let her know we missed her then.
Well, I did last night.
Yeah. Did you tell her we got our hands up on him and?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
She thought that was good. Oh,
Good, good.
I'm going to go get some pads and put on.
Yeah, get comfy. We're gonna be all day.
I bring it in and pull on him.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming in another lesson or two. Oh. Okay, we are going to get going here with Toby, and the lesson we're doing now is going to be bending the head and neck, getting him comfortable with being in that position. I'll talk with you about that while we're doing it, and then we're going to yield these hips. But you know, before we get started, I want to just do a quick kind of check-in and a review here with Toby. So one, right now I'm wanting to check first of all, you know, how attentive is he? Kind of. You know, his feet aren't moving, so I like that. That's the bigger thing, is that he's just holding still. And so I want to come in. I'm going to make some contact and get up here on his, get my hands up on his head, because that's Toby's like nemesis. His thing is, you know, being able to get your hands up there on top of his head, because of that, you know, the experience he had as just a young horse being caught in that halter. And so I want to start out with that, and let's just see if, you know, where we're at with that with Toby. So you can tell already, I mean, as soon as my hand gets up here, he's already kind of going into some caution. So I'm not trying to get anything done here other than, you know, I want my hands up here, and I want Toby to find his way, that he doesn't need to do this with his head. So my hands are just up here as an annoyance, and as soon as he puts his head down and like relaxes and comes down into my chest, then that's when I'm going to release. And then that's the dopamine. You know, he'll get this dopamine release that'll reward him for that behavior of not doing this. You know, the behavior of just relaxing and putting his head down. So, right, my hands are up here. This is enough. I'm triggering the, we're hitting the trigger, right, just by having my hands up here. So here he's starting to relax and look for something different rather than, you know, try to avoid. Now he's being more accepting. I'm just going to wait until his head comes down and he just stops with being this, you know, reactive about my hand being up here. I'm just going to stick with him. I'm not going to get in an argument with him. So I mean, I'm not up here saying, dang you Toby, put your head down, and, you know, trying to push him around or get him to put his head down. I'm just going to be annoying until he does something different, like this. So that's way different. So I'm going to get out. I'm going to let him lick and chew, so we can get this dopamine started right off the bat. It's super important to make sure your horse is properly drugged before you do anything with them. So a lot of you like your horses really drugged on cortisol. You know, stress and worry. I like my horses really drugged on dopamine. So I'm going to start out and just get this dopamine going, get his brain on my team, right? I want Toby and I together on the same team. This isn't me versus him. So I want to get us both on the same page, and this is a great way to do it, because this is his thing that bugs him the most. So what do I want to do the most? I want to do this. So if I do this at the beginning, then I should, you know, I can incorporate this at the end of every lesson. And you know, when he goes home, I'm going to recommend to his owners that, you know, before you even brush him, you come and go through this little head exercise. Get him to want to put his head down and relax. And then get out, release, let him lick and chew, and then go brush him. And then before you put the saddle on, come back up. If we can put this little step in between everything for Toby, I mean, he might need this done, you know, 102 times before Toby decides, whew, I'm over it. So let's just do it. Let's just get it going. Maybe he only needs it done 22 times, and then he's over it. We won't know until we do it however many times. So we just got to do it all the time. Good, we got him. There's number 2, licking and chewing for today. I like it. We're going to go ahead and do that one more time, and then we're going to get going on bending. So look how much better we're getting. I mean, you know, he's trying not to avoid it, but it's the wiring in his brain that just tells him, hey, I had a traumatic experience right there where you're touching, and I don't no way want that touched again. So it's just the neurochemistry, it's just the PTSD memory in his brain. So we're going to unwire that, and it's going to take some time. But boy, look at what a good start we got. Now look at him just wanting to put his head down. Super good. Good boy. I'm just going to... So he put his head down, and then he was kind of looking around to get away. So I'm now just going to keep my hands here until he just totally lets go of trying to avoid. Let's see what we can do. So this little brain adjustment, or just taking this time to just kind of sit here and play with his brain, is really going to get his mind with me, get him relaxed, get him back on that dopamine, get him feeling safe. A good place for us to start what we're going to do today. Just keep your head out of the way. You see me leaning my head back? You don't want to take a 40-pound head butt. It's not fun. Stay out of the way. Let them do what they're going to do. You just got to stay annoying until they look for an answer they've never looked for before. So I'm just waiting for him to decide that the answer he wants to look for is to do nothing and just set his head down and right between my arms, right in my chest like that, and then I'll get out. Good boy. Huge breath. And that's a big deal for him. That's a big deal mentally. Big breath. We'll wait for him to lick and chew, and then we'll get started on our lesson. So while we're waiting, I'll tee up what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be asking Toby to bend his head and neck to the side. And the reasoning, or the why in this, isn't that I want Toby to be necessarily soft in bending his head and neck to the side. That's going to be a result of him being relaxed and doing it. But what I want Toby to know is that, like for the emergency, you know, a one rein stop, or, you know, doing something in a panic or in a kind of oh crap situation, right, we're going to reach down and grab that one rein and pull his head around. We're going to ask him to bring his head around. If Toby doesn't know that's a safe maneuver to start with, you know, let's say we're out on the trail and, you know, a deer jumps up and whatever happens, you know, as things start coming off the tracks, and we reach down and grab Toby's head and, you know, try to pull him into a one rein stop. If he doesn't believe that's a safe, comfortable position, he's already cranked and stressed, and now we're going to try to bend him in half. No, that's going to add to our stress. That's going to add to our problem. So we want to make sure Toby knows that when he feels that rein coming around and he's getting tucked in, that's the cue to relax. We're just going to teach it as a cue so that when we use it under pressure, Toby's not going to panic about it. He's just going to go, oh, I'm just going to bend. And then he'll hit into that parasympathetic nervous system and relax, and whatever the problem is will handle itself. We just got to get Toby to handle his mind. So we're going to set him up and show him how we're going to do that, because we want him to be safe with it. We want him to feel comfortable with it. So what we're going to do, start just like we have everything else. We're going to walk in and make contact at that shoulder, and then I'm going to ask Toby to start bending his head and neck around to the side. I'm not going to pull him into this because I want to just set him up to where he wants to look for it. I want Toby to find it. So, right, I'm going to be standing back here at his hips, right kind of here at the midsection, and I'm going to ask Toby, just little bits of pressure. I'm going to say, hey, I want your head and neck around this side, all the way around, and I want to be able to take my hands and rest here with him. Okay, so I'm going to have my left hand resting on his hip. This is the cue to not move. We're going to start building this cue in that my hand resting here is a calm, quiet, do nothing cue. I got my right hand right here at his withers. I can grab a handful of mane so that I don't get my hand pulled around. And I want to stand right here with his head and neck bent to the side and have his feet not move. So when we first started, his feet moved a little bit. Toby's being fantastic about this. I'm going to wait just a little bit because it feels like there he goes, got his feet situated, he's got his head and neck, he's nice and soft on my lead rope, he's not pulling on me. And I'm going to get out. We're going to let him lick and chew. We want Toby to know that that is a safe position. So Toby's just walking into my space without my invitation, and I'm just going to correct that every single time. Every time. He can come in on my invitation, but not without it. So he walked up, I just kissed and got him back. We're waiting for his mind to settle, though, from what we just did. So remember, the reticular activating system is routing all this information to the sensory strip, to the motor strip, and we want this position, we want this cue to be a safe, calm, quiet experience and feeling for him. All right, he licked the tube 4 times for this morning already. I'm going to go back in. And what I'm doing